Yay! Papa Fox here. Thought I'd share my run of Warlord's Ruin. It's not a flawless. I did die a number of times, but I wasn't trying to go flawless, so that's all right. I just wanted to complete this solo, which I did. It took me about 2 hours. Your miles may vary depending on your build, your play style, and your skill, and how conservative or how aggressive you're going to be. But I figured, why not share my build and also my playthrough? And this was a fun dungeon for me. It was my first one on this account, and I hope this does serve as a helpful experience or guide for you. I'm going to share what I also thought were some traps or enemies that could potentially wipe you throughout this run. One more thing, I did start off on the Prismatic Titan, and I switched to Solar right before the encounter with the second boss started. And the reason I did that is that the Solar build I had with it's much easier to proc Ignition, which deals more damage, and I was just really relying on my blade. I wasn't going to be going in for close combat with the Ogre, because by the time the Ogre gets to that flame area that you're in, you don't have a lot of time to do DPS. You need to start doing DPS as soon as you're in that flame area, and you don't want to waste any time. So I actually kept that on through the second and third encounter, because with the third boss, again, distance is not something that you can close the gap on that easily, since he's a floating meatball. And before I forget, I did have the arc loader applied as a mod to my arms. I really didn't end up using that, so I would just recommend that you could swap that out, put whatever mod you think is going to be best for your build. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I was not particularly looking for any of the secret chests in this, or the bones. The only bones I collected were the ones at the end when you defeat the final boss, which I'll show you where that's at. It's right next to the last chest as it spawns, and you'll see it in my video. So I did not collect those. You have to be aware with chests too. One of the reason I didn't look at a guide for all of those, and I didn't feel like exploring. I was just focused on trying to clear this run. But there are a number of chests that you're going to see with a bluish hue to them. So they kind of have this blue glow. You do not want to open those. That will potentially wipe you. I did survive one, and you could see in the video, but you'll have a bunch of screamers come out, and they will explode and take you out. So just be aware of that. If you see a chest and it does not have that bluish, greenish hue, that glow, then it's safe to open. All right, so I'm going to slow the video down here for a second to explain the mechanic here with Wrathel, the first boss. He's going to summon these taken totems. In my playthrough, he summoned two. He summons one at a time. So the first one, as soon as you see it appear, you need to stand in that totem area, and you need to try to get that that totem cleansed as quickly as possible, and that's going to add to your timer basically for DPS, damage to the boss. Now, as soon as you stand in that, my experience in the playthrough was I would be immediately teleported to these floating cages. In the floating cage, you have a timer by which you got to shoot 3 blighted eyes quickly, because if you don't do it before that timer ends, and you'll hear this little click sound accelerating as you go through, you will die. So assuming that you shoot those 3 blighted eyes quickly, you hop right out, you go right back to that taken totem that you were trying to cleanse. And then during that time, Rathel's also going to summon a second one. So you're going to try to get to that second one as fast as possible and cleanse it. Ignore the ads. Take out ads as you can with the Praxic Blade, but really the focus is cleansing those totems so you could get as much DPS time as possible with the boss. So, your least case, you get 1 totem. Best case, you get 2. All right, so assuming you dealt with that one mechanic in Rathel's encounter, you should have defeated him, got him down, and now you're going to be transported into a prison cell. In this prison cell, there's different parts of the prison you're going to be hopping around into. And there's going to be 6 wheels that you're going to have to shoot by spinning them either clockwise or counterclockwise. And in order to figure out this puzzle, you need to find 2 skeletons. One is going to have their arm on one tablet, their right arm on one tablet. One's going to have their left arm on the other tablet. These skeletons are located in different parts of the prison. So if you look at the video, you'll see exactly where they're at. I'll slow it down here so you can find them. The one with their right arm on the tablet, in my instance, there were 5 number marks on the tablet. That meant I had to shoot the wheels, 5 of them, to be spinning clockwise. The other skeleton with the left arm on the tablet only had 1 number mark on it, which meant I need to shoot that one other wheel, that remaining wheel, counterclockwise. And then you're going to shoot a glowing section of the prison wall, and you'll see it at the end of my run through here, to basically unlock the prison door so you can continue moving through this dungeon. All right, so I warned you guys about the walls, and I warned you guys about the basically holes in the ground in this part of the dungeon. So just be aware of that. But I also want to bring your attention here to this chest, because for whatever reason the chest wasn't glowing, and this is not a actual chest. And I wanted to play the video for you guys in slow motion here, so you can actually see I did survive this. I don't know how I did. It might have just been positioning, whatever. But these are the screamers that will come out and basically try to one-shot you. All right, so this is the second boss encounter. This is Locust of Wailing Grief, an ugly ogre. It's a 2-phase boss fight, meaning that there's a couple of mechanics you're going to have to deal with here. First is the Biting Cold. So that's a freezing debuff. You get to a stack of 10, you're automatically dead. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have these taken eyes that are in the sky. You have to take them all down, and then once you take them down, 2 broken knights are going to appear on each side of the map. You basically have to take out both of those broken knights, or at least one of them, because this is kind of set on a timer. If you don't take out the broken knights in time, the frozen debuff will start to just initiate or kick in. So you want to get to the broken knight, the first one, whichever side you're on, left or right. take down that enemy as soon as possible. If you can, try to have them summon 2 of these burning desires. Basically, similar to the first boss fight, it's a totem that's going to appear. You're going to try to cleanse that totem as fast as possible. If you're lucky enough to get 2, which you don't want to get their DPS down too much, you want to maybe take out 25% of their health. And then once you are able to do that, you cleanse one, you could get to the next one, cleanse the second one, hopefully if it dropped in close proximity to that first broken knight. Otherwise, what you're going to have to do is try to cleanse one and get to a torch that is against the outer perimeter of the wall of this encounter. So you'll notice I'm going to be running to the torches, and you'll notice my biting cold debuff continues to stack. And then as soon as I get to that fire torch area, my buff goes away, or debuff goes away, I should say. So this is basically a wash, rinse, and repeat type of mechanic that you're going to do each time. And once you finish this phase, there's a timer that goes off. That timer, once that timer's complete, on the top center of your screen, you'll see you basically have to take these fire orbs that will appear, and you're going to dunk them into 4 pillars near the boss. Those 4 pillars, once you have 4 of them lit up, that's going to start DPS. You have to stand within one of those torched pillars because there'll be a fire there, and you want to do DPS as high as possible, as fast as possible, because once that ogre gets near that torched area that you're in, he's going to turn it off, and so DPS ends, and you have to just run to the next pillar, wash, rinse, and repeat until you get through all 4, and then it's wash, rinse, and repeat, the same mechanic that I just explained. The reason I use the Praxic Blade here, as you recall, I mentioned earlier, you need something long distance to deal with this. If you try to get close to the boss while you're not in that torched area, that pillar area, you're not going to do any damage. The boss is immune. So the boss only takes damage while you're in that pillar area that's lit up. Important to note too, you only want to stand in one pillar at a time. Don't go running around each pillar, because as soon as you stand in a pillar, it activates it. So if you are running around and you step in one pillar on accident, you're going to have one less pillar to do DPS on. So just be aware of that. All right, we made it to the end, guys. This is the final boss, Heffen's Vengeance. I think that's how you say his name. Feel free to let me know the pronunciation if it's differently. This is a 3-floor boss fight, so you're gonna have to do some jumping here. And we all love jumping in Destiny, I know. But there's a couple of mechanics here I want to talk through. The first one is when the boss spawns, he's going to have these blighted eyes around him. You have to take out the eyes. Once you take out all those eyes, that will continue the second mechanic you're going to have to deal with. There are going to be these taken knights that will spawn on each side of the map to the left and right of the boss. Now you're going to kill those broken knights, and then they're going to drop these lanterns, similar to what we've seen in prior mechanics. You're going to hopefully get 2 lanterns per broken knight that you can cleanse. As you're cleansing, you have to keep an eye out for a Hex of Vengeful Corruption. That's going to be another mechanic that you're going to have to deal with. And that's basically a debuff that will kill you once it reaches 0. And the way to get rid of that debuff is there's going to be a special enemy on the field that's going to have this white glow on and off on him, and he's called a melee corrupted hex drinker. Notice you're not going to be able to do regular damage to him. You have to melee him to pass that debuff on. It's basically a game of tag. And once he has it, you have to be mindful. You want to wait for it to get to as close to 0 as possible so you could hit him, and then you're going to get as far away from him as possible. The reason I say that is because if you don't, he can pass the debuff back to you by hitting you with a melee attack, which he is going to try to do. Assuming you get through that, you'll hear the chime after you have cleansed all the, hopefully you've cleansed all of those taken lanterns, and then you could start damage phase. And you're going to maximize your window there by having those lanterns. The more lanterns you take out, the more of a time frame or a window that you have for doing DPS. You have to meet a minimum threshold in order for the boss to go on to the next floor. And it's going to be a wash, rinse, and repeat for all of those floors until the last floor. That last floor you're going to get on top of. And there is no mechanic you have to deal there in terms of doing DPS. You could get straight to DPS. You don't have to worry about the blighted eyes around him. If you use the Praxic Blade, you could just take all, you want more of those eyes, because then you could just reflect all that damage they're shooting at you back to the boss. And so you wash, rinse, and repeat that until you get to the final health bar phase of the boss. And then at that point, I think it's like 1/10 of his health. At that point, you don't have to worry about mechanics anymore. It's just going to be pure DPS. So at that point, just stay alive, do as much damage as you can, and take them out as fast as possible. And congratulations, you've completed this dungeon. And don't forget to collect the bones at the end once you collect the chest. And good luck. I hope this has helped you, and I look forward to any feedback or comments you guys have. So please share those in the comment section. If you like this video, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. I'll try to put out content frequently, but no guarantees or promise, because similar to all of you, I have a life outside of this.